y'all, and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a testing new makeup, get ready with me style video. I have a lot of new products actually. I have some Too Faced, some R.E.M Beauty, some Makeup Revolution, some Sugar Drizzle. I've got some new makeup. We are going to test it out. We're going to play with it. I thought it would be fun just to get ready together. Some of these things I've been trying for, you know, a few days. Some of these things are brand new. So we're just going to get ready together. Now, if you are new here, I want to say, hey, my name is Heather and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just want to have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Now, I'm excited to put this makeup on. I have got to leave soon, so I want to wear this makeup today. I want to get ready together. I do already have my face primed with my blurring primer from R.E.M Beauty. I've been using this only like a handful of times so far. I'm still kind of gathering my thoughts on it. I do feel like it blurs my pores a bit. I do have it on all over my face. So far, I think it's nice, but I want to remind you with these types of videos where I'm testing new products, trying new things, I always follow up, usually in a few weeks, sometimes in a few months, but I always follow up with videos where I tell you my full thoughts, full review, after I've tested, try the products, and I know what I think about it. But today is going to be more like a testing type of video. I'm excited about it, so let's jump into it. So to get started, let me kind of push my hair away from my face. I have that blurring primer on, and I want to use my Sigma Spectrum Color Correcting Duo. I love this. I have the medium shade. I'm just going to put my fingers in a little bit of both sides, and I want to cover up some of the darkness under my eyes. This is not new. This is a favorite for me. Well, I mean, it launched this year, so it's relatively new. But for me, it's something I use a lot. So I'm just patting that in. Instantly have a little brightness under my eye, which is good. We are going to test out a new foundation today. Now, I normally don't test a new foundation and new primer and concealer all at once, but I have been using this primer, like I said, a few times. I've worn it with some of my favorite foundations, so I feel like I can use it, you know, with a new foundation. But this is the Revolution in Real Life Filter Longwear Foundation Breathable Soft Matte. So I ordered 2 of these from the Makeup Revolution site. I was curious about these when they first launched, but I decided not to pick them up. But then I saw Tati do a video. She was testing these and she really liked the way her foundation looked. So I was on the site and I could not figure out what shade to get. I was trying to look through swatches. I was trying to look at descriptions. So I just ended up ordering 2 shades. I got the shade F5, I got the shade F9.5 and F11.2. This said it is oil-free, breathable, and 16-hour wear. So let's see how I did with the shades. Okay, first up, I have 9.5. This is a nice feeling glass bottle, and it does have a pump, so I'm just trying to pump out a little bit onto my finger. Okay, whoops, I got hair in it. Okay, woo, that's kind of, well, I mean, that looks pretty good, right? Okay, so that is 9.5. Now let's swatch 11.2 on my cheek and see. Okay, so these foundations are, both of these shades that I got are supposed to have an olive undertone, and they were both in the like medium category. So let's see. Okay, this is 11.2. Okay, so 9.5 and 11.2. I'm not sure so I think what I'll do is I'll just mix them both. That's the rest of 11.2. I think that is probably the one that would work best for me. So I also got this little R.E.M sponge. I bought the concealer too. So I bought the concealer, the primer, and then I got the sponge like thrown in, I guess, as a gift with purchase. I've been testing out the concealer, but we're going to play with the R.E.M concealer later. I've done a TikTok on that, things like that. So I actually want to play with the Born This Way concealer, but I do want to use this sponge. So let's see, let me pump out a little bit of 11.2, and then let me pump out maybe like half a pump of the 9.5. There we go. Okay, so I've got them both on the sponge, and let's see. Let's look at the coverage we get. It just smells like product, you know, like maybe a faint chemical smell, but nothing bad. And just a reminder, when people say things are chemical free, everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical. Technically, everything is a chemical. So when I say it has a chemical smell, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it doesn't smell like they've added any fragrance or anything like that to it. Okay, full coverage. Full coverage. Definitely. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, like looking from my face to my forehead where I don't have any foundation. It is full coverage. My favorite foundations are like medium coverage and a skin-like matte finish. That would be my preference for foundations and concealers, would be medium to buildable coverage, so that, you know, I can go through and cover up if I have any redness or anything. But this is full coverage, which is what it claimed to be. I will also say I don't love the shape of this sponge. Like, it's just not convenient to hold to me. Like the way, like it's so pinched. It's so small. I feel like when I'm gripping it, it's just not very comfortable in my hand. But I mean, it's a sponge. It's not that big a deal. But if it weren't a gift with purchase, I would not buy it, and I wouldn't repurchase it again. Okay, so we got some full coverage foundation on. I have the Born This Way Ethereal Light Illuminating and Smoothing Concealer. I bought the shade Biscotti. Now, I've worn this concealer a few times, and I'm still collecting my thoughts on it. So I wanted to try it again on camera with y'all. Okay, so this concealer claims to be a medium coverage, natural finish, but it is supposed to feel like a serum on the skin. So you can see I bought like a shade that's lighter than my skin tone. And one thing that has kind of bugged me about this concealer that I haven't just loved is the doe foot. There's something about the way the applicator is that it doesn't pick up much product. So I find myself having to dip back in and back in and back in to get enough concealer on my face. Which I guess if you're going for like super duper light minimal makeup, that could be good. But I like when a applicator picks up a bit more product, so I don't have to keep going back and forth into the component. But it is, they say it's medium coverage. I would say it's more sheer than medium, which is one of the reasons I decided to use the color corrector today. But I just don't know. I mean, I like products that are natural finish, even though I have oily skin, which I should have said that at the beginning. If you're new here, I'm 34 years old. I have oily skin. I live in the south of the United States. It is hot. It is humid here. I don't mind being glowy. I think my oily skin, well, everybody's oily skin and glowy products, it looks very beautiful and natural. But this concealer, like I said, for a concealer, knowing I've already kind of color corrected under my eyes, I think I should be able to build it up a little bit more than this. Because usually if I test a product that's not matte and I don't love it, I have people in the comments telling me like, well, it's not made for you. It's not made for oily skin. You need matte products. No, I like to glow and I do have products that are more on the glowy side. I don't know if I love this, but I think, there we go. See, I can build it up a little bit. It's just, so far, it's not my favorite. I've only worn it, you know, a handful of times. So, of course, I can't fully tell you my thoughts on this concealer. I want to play around with it more. But that's kind of why I wanted to try it again with y'all today, because I just feel like I should be able to build up a little more coverage here with a medium coverage concealer. I think this would be better marketed as a light coverage concealer, but I think if you have, you know, baby fresh, beautiful skin, if you don't really have any discoloration, maybe you just have a couple of tiny little spots that you want to cover, this could probably be good. And it is like a very thin consistency, which is good. But for me, so far, it's just not my personal favorite. But I'm going to blend in the rest of this concealer. And then I have this Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. So a loose setting powder that's supposed to be somewhat of a glow. I have the translucent shade. I'm very excited to try it. So we'll try that one together. Okay, so the concealer is completely blended in. I did build it up just a little bit under my eyes for a little additional coverage. Now, this is the Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder. It is a translucent powder, so it's not like it's going to give me any more coverage, but it claims to have a natural luminous finish on the skin. I bought this powder weeks ago. I bought this powder, but then I got the Sigma powders, the soft focus setting powders, and I have not put those down since. So I've only used this like twice and then I moved on to the Sigma because I just love those so much. But I want to try this with y'all. It has that nice Too Faced packaging. Very, very beautiful. And it does have like a protective layer over the cap, which I think is super nice. So you just kind of like push that up, and I'm going to tap some powder into the case. I think this is a new product, right? Or is it just new to me? It was in the new section when I got it, but then I was like, wait a minute, I feel like I've heard of that before. Dang, I'm having a hard time getting some powder out. So let me tap some powder into the cap. And then I really want to use this to set under the eyes. I'm not sure if I want to set the rest of my face with this powder or not. It just depends on how kind of luminous it looks under the eyes. Okay, so everybody on TikTok is using these little Amazon powder puffs. So I bought some too because I love my beauty blender. I think this is called like a pocket puff or something like that. And I love my puff from Tati Beauty, but Tati Beauty is no longer around. The Beauty Blender puff is, you know, priced at a higher end price point. So I wanted to get these from Amazon, and I think they're going to work just as good. So I'm going to pick the powder up, like I just pressed it in, and press under my eyes. Now, if you have oily skin and you're setting with powder, I love pressing powder in like this. I think it helps with the longevity of my makeup so much. But if you have dry skin, I would say either don't set with powder at all, or just use a brush and lightly dust your powder under. But I'm going to be outside today. I'm going to be pretty active today, doing a bunch of things. So I want to make sure this makeup is going to last. So there it is from one side to the other. Now, powder is going to give you a more poreless look, right? Because you have luminosity over here. So definitely when you set with powder, it's like, wow, where did the pores go? Because even though this is not a super matte powder, you are putting a powder on top of the luminosity over here. So I like a luminous finish. I think it's very beautiful, but yeah, anytime you put a powder on, you're going to not bring as much attention to the pores, whereas a luminous finish, of course, the light is hitting right here, you know, so it's going to be like you have more pores. But you can see with that powder, I still feel like I just have a smidge of discoloration right in here that I think if I used a different concealer, I wouldn't see that, but it's okay. I mean, it's fine. So I'm just gonna set right here and in my T-zone with this Too Faced powder, and then I am going to, because it is translucent, but I do feel like it lightened up just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna set the rest of my face with my Sigma powder. I'm gonna buff it in. I'm going to fill in my brows, and then I will be back because I have new lashes from NYX. I have new highlighter from Sugar Drizzle. I have a new palette from Sugar Drizzle. We've got new lip products. We're gonna play with some new makeup. Okay, so I have y'all nice and zoomed in. I wanted to go ahead and show you my skin. I think it looks really, really nice. I think I could use just a tiny bit more coverage right here, but that's just me being a little nitpicky. You know what I mean? I don't think anything looks bad. I think my skin looks so pretty. So I just set underneath the eyes and kind of in the T-zone with that Too Faced powder, and then I took my Sigma Soft Focus powder and I buffed in to the rest of my skin because I kind of have to set everything. Like, I'm just not a person who can leave anything unset. I filled in my brows. Now, I bought this Give Me Brow Volumizing product from Benefit. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me testing and trying this out, but it's a bit too thick for me to do my entire brow with this because I do have very light brow hairs. In my last Get Ready With Me, I showed my brows kind of step by step what I do. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I think it was like the drugstore testing new makeup video. But what I've done is I've taken the Moira, still don't really love this, wouldn't recommend it, but it is tiny. So I took the tiny little Moira pencil and I kind of outlined underneath, and then I did the tail with this since it's so tiny, and then I went in with the Benefit and I filled in the rest of my brow, and I set it all down with my Patrick Ta brow lamination. This is the best brow product I've ever tried in my life. Honestly, it's amazing. Now, the palette that we're going to use today is this new palette. This is the Meant to Be palette from Sugar Drizzle. So I'm trying to make sure you can see on camera because it has this really cute holographic background, but that's not always like camera friendly, so I'm trying to move it so that y'all can see. But I am going to post up swatches for y'all so that you can see how this palette swatches. This palette is not available yet. This was gifted to me from Sugar Drizzle. It's launching on the 20th, and I do have a code. You can use code Heather to save at Sugar Drizzle. Of course, you don't have to. I'm just letting you know. It will be in the description box. And yeah, I wanted to show you swatches because this is really, really pretty, and I'm excited to play with it because I really like Sugar Drizzle. I think they make really, really pretty shadows at a good price point as well. So there's only one matte shade in this palette, and I really like the matte shade that they chose. They chose this really deep dark one. And so what I'm going to do, I don't want to pull in other eyeshadows because I don't think I need to, but what I am going to do, and I wanted to do this also to kind of remind y'all, if y'all have beautiful all shimmer palettes, all special palettes, you know, if you have palettes like that or single shadows like that, and you're like, you know, what can I use this with? Of course, you can always pull out other palettes, use those. But I'm going to be using this blush palette from Ofra today. This is a collab with GLAM with Susan. I did a whole video on Ofra's latest influencer collabs, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But I was going to use GLAM with Susan's palette on the cheeks for blush today because I have options, and I just feel like being creative, mixing and matching. So I'm going to use these also as eyeshadows today. I'm going to use them on my eyes to pair, and then it's going to look so pretty once I use it as blush. The look's going to tie together. You can also always use your bronzer as shadows too, like a little bronzer in the crease and one of your special, you know, multi-chrome shimmer type of shadows all over the lid. That will be beautiful and so quick and easy. But I am going to prime my eyes with my Sigma eyeshadow primer base in Ignite. I actually just repurchased 2 of these. I'm so glad. I was like, listen, I ran out. I accidentally gave one to my mom. I thought I was giving her a different shade. I came to do my makeup one day and I'm like, where is my Ignite base? So I went on the Sigma site. I ordered myself 2 new ones. I love this. Look, I have deep set eyes. I already told y'all I have oily skin. Priming my eyes with concealer is not it. It's not gonna happen. My lids are gonna be so happy. They're gonna be like, yes, a snack. They're gonna eat the eyeshadow off. It's gonna be gone. So I always use an eyeshadow base. So I'm gonna prime my eyes with this, and yeah, we're gonna play with these pretty new shadows. I have not used these yet. This is gonna be a complete first impression. I'm excited about it. Okay, we're primed, we're ready for shadow. I'm gonna take this Sugar Drizzle brush and I wanna go right into the matte purple shade. I want to start off with the deepest color. And I wanna see, I'm just making sure there's no creases in the eye primer because I definitely don't wanna set any creases in with powder. So what I'm gonna do first is tap the color on. So I'm just pressing this all kind of in the socket, above the socket, below the socket, and I want to just press the color on to kind of set that primer, and then I will go back and buff along the edges. But I'm not worried so much about blending right now. I just want to press that color on so I get all that pigment right there. Okay, since these are blushes and not shadows, they're not gonna be pigmented like eyeshadows, right? But they're gonna be great for kind of buffing and blending. Now, I didn't really try to blend this. I'm sure you could, but I wanna use a blush to blend it out with. So just keep that in mind. I didn't try to blend this. So if you're like, oh my gosh, you couldn't blend that shadow. No, I haven't tried. I haven't tried. I wanna go in with this really pretty pink right down here from the Glam with Susan palette. I'm gonna make sure I tap off any excess, and then I'm just going to blend. And I think it's going to be really, really pretty to have that deep, dark kind of, like, I don't know, I want to call it a midnight purple. It's so pretty, and it's going to be so pretty to kind of fade into this pink. So I'm just going to take my time and buff along the edges with that blush. It's gonna be so, so beautiful. And the blush that I chose is not matte. It's like a satin type of formula. Not shimmery or anything like that, but it's definitely not matte. It has a little bit of a glow, and I think that's gonna be pretty as well. So just kind of buffing, 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 and then we're gonna play with the beautiful shifty shadows in this palette. Okay, so I really want to put one of these really pretty special shades on the lid. I want to go in with this dark color because it's like a deep dark purple that kind of shifts to like a blood red shade, you know, like really, really pretty and dark. And of course you can put it straight on the lid. Of course you can pick it up with a brush and spray the brush, do whatever you want to. But if you've been at my channel for the past few weeks, you know I'm loving this KARLA Fix Potion. I even put it in my most recent favorites video. So I'm gonna pick up a tiny bit of this on my brush. And I will say I've used this Fix Potion with a brush and it does wash out. Like when I go to deep clean my brushes, it doesn't just stay. So I'm going to kind of look down and I'm going to put this Fix Potion all over the lid. I'm gonna make sure that it's not too thick in any areas, anything like that. I'm just gonna tap it out, and I'm gonna let it get a bit tacky. So not wet, but still sticky. I'm gonna keep looking down. I'm gonna take my Sigma brush and I'm gonna go into that shade that we wanna use. Again, I'm making sure I'm not creasing that primer, and I'm just going to tap this right on top of that Fix Potion. Oh my gosh, it looks so cool. Like when I'm looking down into the mirror, it looks deep dark red, but then when I look up into this mirror, it's completely purple. So that's fun. I'm tapping it on, pressing it in, pressing it in. I want to make sure it gets on top of that Fix Potion and that it dries down. And then I'm going to go back and blend and make sure we don't have any harsh lines. But I like to just make sure it's pressed in on top of that potion before I blend. That's just my personal kind of favorite way to use it. Okay, my eye look is feeling intense, grungy. I'm here for it. If you don't want your look to be quite as bold as this, keep the shadows down closer to your lid. I, of course, fluffed them up because I'm into it. I want to take the dark purple shade, and I want to pull this onto the lower lash line. And I really want to bring it around, smoke it out, back and forth like this. And then I want to highlight the inner corner with one of these other beautiful sparkly shades. I think we'll use the shade Bubblegum. It looks really, really sparkly. Kind of goes from a mid-tone purple to a lighter purple. And I just think that's going to be really, really pretty. So I'm going to take Bubblegum. I'm going to pop it right there on the inner corner. And then I'm going to put on eyeliner and mascara because I want the drama to continue. I'm going to use false lashes as well. Now, I told y'all in a Judging New Makeup that I had purchased the new Milk Makeup Longwear eyeliners. This will be my first time using this new formula, so I'll have to let you know later how it wears, if it wears all day. But I also bought these jumbo lashes from NYX. I'm very excited. They look pretty. The packaging is cool. So I'm going to put these lashes on, and then I'll be back because we still need to bronze, blush, highlight, lips, all of that together. But I'm really loving the way the eye look is coming out. I think lashes and liner are just going to add to the drama. Okay, the eye look is finished. I think it looks so deep and dark and grungy while also colorful and pretty. I'm into it. The Milk liner, first impression, very nice. I'm excited to see how it wears today. The lashes from NYX are not long enough for my personal preference. My eye shape, what I usually like lashes that are a lot longer. But I think if you are looking for lashes that are not too thick, that are not very long, or maybe you have, you know, less space from lash to brow, maybe you will really like these lashes. They were easy to apply. I mean, I think they look pretty. I just, personal preference, I like kind of longer lashes, but we do need to bronze. Let's bronze up. I'm gonna use my Sigma bronzer. I've got my REPHR 04 brush, and I'm just going to start bronzing. My makeup has been on for not super long now, and I do feel like I'm looking glowy in through here, but in a really nice way. It's definitely a more glowy powder. When I first put it on, I think it was looking a bit more matte, but I think that Too Faced Ethereal powder, it is giving some glow, right? Because I just have like, not matte, but a little bit of a sheen right in there, which I think is really nice. I'm just bronzing up the face. That's really pretty. I think I should have definitely got a deeper shade in the Too Faced concealer because like body to face is a bit different, but this bronzer is going to help a lot. So just bronzing up. I really love this Sigma bronzer. I think it's so nice. So yeah, just gonna blend, blend, blend this in. Okay, I love the way bronzer pulls things together. Takes away kind of that flat look. But I want to go in with the blush palette now. Again, this is the Ofra and Glam with Susan blush palette. So I'm going to take my Sigma F35. This says it's a tapered highlighter brush. I want to use it for blush though. I want to go in with this pretty blush that we used on the eyes. And I'm just going to blend this in. It is, like I said, not a matte blush. It definitely has kind of a sheen to it, but super pretty. I want to go with this pinky blush because we're going to put on this beautiful sugar drizzle highlight that is like a white pink shifting shade. So I thought that would pair really beautiful with a true pink blush. Okay, so this is also launching on the 20th from Sugar Drizzle. This is Darlin Nikki's My Lighter. So opening it up, it looks white, very sparkly, but as I move it around, I can kind of see like gold and pink reflex. Yeah, definitely like a pink shift. Super pretty. So I love like colorful highlighters. I love shifty highlighters. So I'm going to pick this up on my brush. This is an F64 soft blend concealer brush from Sigma, but I like it for highlight. And look how beautiful and pink this looks on the skin. This would also be such a pretty blush topper. Like put down a matte pink blush and then kind of top it with this would be beautiful. But I like that the way it looks as a highlight. Really pretty. Definitely has some sparkle to it. But I like that. I think that's pretty. Put some on the nose. I love to highlight the nose. I love to highlight the Cupid's bow. And then for lips, I bought this Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. I bought this in the shade Hibiscus because I had tried their Juicy Lip. Let me see where it is. And I really loved it, but it was a different formula from this one. Oh, where did I put it? Okay, so this one in the gold packaging is the Juicy Lip Plump. Now, I never noticed any like plumping or tingling effects, but this is not the plump version. This is the regular version. Again, I have the shade Hibiscus. I think it's going to look really pretty with this look. First, I'm going to go in with my Sephora lip liner in the shade Rum Raisin, and then we'll go in with the Tarte. Okay, now that I have that lip liner on, I'm going to not put the brush on my lips. I'm going to use this Tarte. So this is like light pink and white packaging, and then you kind of click it up. I'm interested to see how this is different from the Lip Plump. Oh, that's such a pretty shade. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Gives that glossy look, and I think this shade is perfect for our eye and cheeks. All right, y'all, here is the finished look. I'm still collecting my thoughts on some of these products. Some of these were complete first impressions, so I'm excited to play with them more. I think the primer, I'm still collecting my thoughts on, but I think it's a really nice blurring primer. The foundation, definitely full coverage. I'm excited to see how it wears throughout the day. The concealer, it's not my favorite so far, but I'm going to keep playing with it before I follow up. I think the Ethereal setting powder looks really nice. The Sugar Drizzle palette, super duper pretty. The blush palette, beautiful. The highlighter, I think, looks great on the skin. The Tarte lip, it doesn't have that cooling feeling that the Juicy Lip Plump has. I never felt tingling, burning, anything like that, but it did have a slight cooling effect on my lips. It definitely never plumped them. So I think if you were debating between the two, I think it doesn't matter. One has a cooling sensation that didn't plump, but it's called plump. And this one, there's just no cooling feeling. But the finish on the product and everything, I think is the same. Again, I think the lashes are super pretty. They're not my personal preference. So I did buy another style of these NYX lashes that are a little bit longer, I think. So I'm excited to wear those and try those. The Benefit Brow, I'm still playing around with. Like I said, all of these products, at least the ones that I have not reviewed yet. I mean, the Sigma powder that I buffed in, like, of course, I've used that before. I've already reviewed that. But the products that I have not reviewed yet, I will follow up in a few weeks and let you know what I think. But overall, I really like this deep purple pink leaning look. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope whatever you're doing, you're having a super awesome, amazing, fun day. And I will see you very soon in another video. Bye.